Good morning, everybody. Thank you for taking the time to join me today. So, just by way of introduction, my name is Clive Evans. I'm going to be presenting today. I'm going to break this session up into two parts. The first few minutes, I'm going to walk through a couple of slides, and then, most importantly, get into the tool itself, iPlanet. My background, just so you know, largely IT background, but would always had a passion and an interest in working with adults with learning disabilities for personal reasons, as well as just for helping a number of organisations on a volunteer perspective for many, many years, in particular in Greystones and Wicklow. But then after I left the corporate world, I joined as CEO of an organisation that supported delivered services such as respite, residential supported living, and day services for adults in the intellectual disability space. And I ran that for 4 years. Interestingly enough, when I went there, it was all paper-based, and we sought to put in an IT solution, and we ended up selecting iPlanet and implementing that. Anyway, that's just by way of background. I should say all our client management team within Aspirico have either been responsible people or person in charge like myself in the past, or worked in the sector. So very much hands-on experience within the sector itself. So that's just by way of background. A little bit about Aspirico itself. Aspirico is founded just over 17 years now, and it was the key focus was to ensure that there was a solution built around the person to make sure the person's needs were being met and the desires were being facilitated to achieve their goals and dreams. We very much take a partnership approach working with customers, and we're customers across Ireland, UK, Australia, New Zealand, and so on, and from every size, from organisations that support thousands of service users to very small organisations that support about 20 service users, etc. So broad spectrum, and which is good because we can get a lot of learnings from them, and we can also share those learnings where appropriate with other providers as well. And the solution is very configurable, and you'll get a sense of that when I show you the tool itself. And we're very much a values-driven organization. We want to make sure that you're able, as a provider, to evidence value, that you're sort of delivering your services for the people that you're supporting. We want to be able to ensure that you can evidence inclusion, because obviously the key thing is making sure that everything that's done in terms of support is obviously done around the person that you're supporting, but also including their extended support circle, and making sure there's a facility to facilitate that and for you to evidence that where appropriate. Very much a system that you would see that's very transparent and drives accountability, whether that's from making sure plans are up to date to assisting people achieve their goals and outcomes and so on. So again, that'll become evident as I walk through the tool itself. So, but again, the bottom line is very value-driven organization, and whilst we hold these values true to ourselves, we also try and work with yourselves to enable you to achieve, because I know you already have similar goals like that or values like that. And the last session that we did a couple of weeks ago was all about the theme of going digital and what the key drivers were for that, and the benefits that can be reaped by going digital, particularly if you're still a very paper-based organization, the many benefits that can bring to the table for you. And also then we talked about some approaches and tips and tricks about going digital as such. And then most importantly, that last session, we spent quite a bit of time gleaning learnings from Siobhan and Emer from the Prosper group, where they talked about their learnings as they went down the digital path and the benefits that they've reaped from that, etc., etc. So if you didn't attend that session, I would encourage you to be able to sort of look at that recording and get some insights from the Prosper group, because it was very enlightening. So today's session, it's all about basically leveraging iPlanet. So I'm going to obviously give a demo of the tool itself, but really why? To obviously deliver service in a compliant fashion for the benefit of the people that you're supporting. So, obviously that could be from a number of different strands. It could be from looking at plans and making sure your person-centered care plans are in place and being updated in a timely fashion, and you get reports around that, whether it's those support tasks that need to be delivered, and keeping a record of those and making sure that they are being delivered on time as the people need it. And whether it's, if you had, for example, the module around incident and events module, tracking those and the nature of the incidents that are happening and the trends and so on, so you can take the appropriate action. Whether it's looking at health monitoring, we have a health monitoring module, and whether it's looking at blood pressure, fluid intake, whatever it might be, whatever you're monitoring, it's having good governance over things like that. The plans themselves, making sure that whilst yes, you might have a standard template that you're using across your organization, however, you need to obviously make sure that the plan is very person-centered. So making sure that the plan is around that person themselves, whether that's around their decision making or the various different aspects of their plan. And also, most importantly, yes, it's not just about evidencing for inspectors or commissioning bodies, etc. But at the end of the day, it's all about the person and enabling them to achieve their goals and dreams that they want to achieve. And it's been able to have good line of sight of that. So we're going to touch on some of those things today. Really utilizing iPlanet to equip you to make sure that you've got the right plans, identifying the risks, putting the right support tasks, having those data points in place that you can ensure that your services are being delivered as you would like them to be delivered. And we have obviously the iPlanet tool itself. This slide here shows you on the top two quadrants, if you like, that's what we include in our core product. Okay. And you will see a lot of these things today, but obviously personal plans, outcomes, there's a messaging capability. There's, from a GDPR perspective, making sure people have access to what they need to have access to, and that's it. Risk management, notes and logs, and alerts, KPIs, and then so that's in our core product. And then additional to that, we've got lots of additional modules. Now, some organizations already maybe have IT solutions in place that are facilitating these type of activities, whether that's incident management, whether that's referrals, whether that's medication, health monitoring, whatever it might be. Each one of these are different modules, and they're all about the person and centered around the person, with the exception of this one here, location management. And this really is addressing those sort of the premises regulation. Obviously, if you're an organization that have many different locations where you're delivering different services, there's things that you need to obviously maintain within those premises, whether it's a boiler check, whether it's fire, whether it's maintenance of various different descriptions. That can all be tracked within that location management module. And whilst it's not as centered around the person like the other modules are, it's very important that they're kept to the right quality standards for the benefit of the person, obviously. So that's really our system. And basically, generally what we find is customers start off with the core module and possibly a couple of other modules, and add on as and when they need it, if they need it in the future.